Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. In this episode, let's talk about an interesting bike from SCOTT, and it's going to be SCOTT Addict Gravel 20 bike for the 2021 season. I say interesting bike because you will see that this bike comes with the wireless group set from SRAM. So basically there is no cables on this bike, which is very, very interesting and maybe a little bit surprising. But before we start, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe and hit that little bell icon because it's gonna help in growing the channel. And of course, if you are already a subscriber, then definitely thank you. So as I was saying, SCOTT Addict Gravel 20 bike. So let's first talk about the retail price of this bike, which is $3,500 US. So absolutely not a cheap bike, but you will see what do you get for your hard-earned money. Also, let's answer the question, who is this bike for? So you see, if you are spending majority of your time riding on the road, but from time to time you like to explore a bit of off-road, go a bit of gravel riding, then definitely you should consider this gravel bike. Also, if you like bike packing, this bike is going to offer you a lot of opportunities to bring a lot of stuff with you, because you will going to have a lot of mounting points. So mounting points on the down tube, on the seat tube, even on the top tube. So this is kind of the main point of these gravel road bikes. Now let's talk about the paint scheme of this bike. So you see, there is only one paint scheme on offer, and this is I have to say, beautiful. It looks to me like a bronze paint scheme, a bit of kind of brown shifting towards bronze paint scheme. I think it's absolutely stunning and absolutely beautiful. SCOTT has done a great job with this paint scheme. I mean, of course, I wish SCOTT has offered at least another paint scheme, but unfortunately no, you only have one paint scheme to choose from. I mean, keep in mind that this is a $3,500 US bike. I truly believe SCOTT should have offered at least another paint scheme. So now let's dive in and let's see some of the specifications of this bike. And let's really see what do you get for your hard-earned money, and I will give a lot of detailed explanations about all these components on the bike. So we can kick off as usual with the frame and the fork on this bike. So this is a carbon fiber frame, Addict Gravel HMF carbon fiber frame. This is with specific gravel geometry, with internal cable routing, press fit bottom bracket, 12mm through axles front and the back. When it says here internal cable routing, considering this specific bike, you won't have any cables, but let's say in the future, if you want to mount some kind of electronic group set with the cables or even mechanical group set, yes, it has an internal cable routing. Fork on the bike is a carbon fiber fork, Addict Gravel HMF carbon fiber fork with the flat mount disc and also the carbon steer. So considering the frame and the fork, just keep in mind that SCOTT is offering 5 years warranty on their carbon fiber frames and the forks. You gotta register your bike, you gotta be the first owner. So this warranty on the carbon fiber frames and the forks is just, I would say, an average warranty in the industry. A bunch of other brands, like Giant, Trek, Specialized, Cannondale, they can offer you a lifetime warranty. And I wish that at some point SCOTT will move towards lifetime warranty. So considering this frame and the fork, carbon fiber HMF level, I have no special complaints. It's a pretty decent job that SCOTT has done here. Now let's talk about the group set of this bike, because definitely the group set is the highlight of this bike. So here we are speaking about the newest and the greatest, SRAM XPLR, SRAM Explorer group set. In this case, it's going to be the SRAM Rival Explorer ETAP Access group set. So long story short, this is a wireless electronic group set. So no cables on this bike. You don't have a front mech on this bike. You of course have the shifters and the rear mech. They communicate wirelessly. You have a battery at the rear mech. You have the battery at the shifters, and of course the shifters and hydraulic disc brake are on the same shifter lever. So let's start with the rear mech. As I said, this is a SRAM Rival Explorer ETAP Access rear mech. This is a 12-speed dedicated group set. Just keep in mind when you look at this newest SRAM Explorer group set, it is a dedicated group set for the gravel, but there's kind of 3 levels here. The lowest level would of course be this SRAM Rival, then you would have the SRAM Force ETAP, and then you would have the SRAM Red ETAP Access group set. So considering this rear mech, SRAM Rival Explore ETAP Access rear mech, some of the interesting things about it, of course, it's a rear mech for the specific use with the 1x drivetrains, and specifically, as it says here, it can accommodate the cassette sizes from 1036 all the way to 1044. And for example, if you would buy this rear mech on the open market, it would cost you $255 US. Of course, cage material is aluminum here, and the maximum tooth, the maximum cassette this rear mech can accept is the 44 tooth cassette. So definitely a 12-speed dedicated group set for this rear mech, which is a wireless group set. Now let's move to the shifters. Again, this is a SRAM Rival group set, which incorporates also the HRD shifting braking system, so hydraulic brakes on the same shifting lever. I mean, nothing special here. Just to mention it again, shifting is the wireless group set, and it goes the same way when you look at the Rival level. Above that Rival level you will have a Force level with SRAM, and then above that you will have the SRAM Red group set. Crankset on this bike is a single chainring at the front, so you don't have a front mech. So this is going to be a SRAM Rival 1 wide crankset with a 42 tooth chainring at the front. So this SRAM Rival wide crankset, it can accommodate chainrings from 38 tooth all the way to 46. Again, if you would buy it on the open market, it would be $130 US. Of course, this crankset comes with the SRAM's own DUB dub bottom bracket standard, press fit bottom bracket standard. I mean, it is what it is. I can't comment here on the kind of longevity and the reliability of this DUB press fit bottom bracket standard, but if somebody has been using this SRAM's DUB standard, please do let us know below. So this specific crankset, as I said, dedicated to the 12-speed group set. It has a kind of a wide chain line. It's specifically, again, dedicated to the gravel bikes, and as I said, you can fit the chain rings all the way from 38 tooth all the way to 46 tooth. In this case, it's a 42 tooth chainring in the front. Bottom bracket set, as I said, the SRAM DUB press fit 86.5 millimeters press fit bottom bracket. I truly hope you won't have any creaking noises. Moving on to the chain and the cassette. The chain is again SRAM Rival chain, perfectly fine out of the box. And the cassette is the SRAM's XG1251 cassette. So you see this SRAM XG1251 cassette on this bike is 1044 cassette. I mean, absolutely huge cassette, and it's paired with the chainring 42 tooth chainring at the front. So absolutely there's going to be no problem in attacking steep mountains, and also, you know, riding fast in the straight line. The only thing you gotta keep in mind with this cassette is the price of this cassette if you need to replace it in the future, and you'll definitely need to. So you see the retail price is gonna be $150 US for this cassette. Briefly, some technological specs of this cassette. It's a dedicated 12-speed group set, 1044 cassette with the cogs, which are nickel chrome, and cog sizes, they start from like 10, 11, 13, 15, all the way to the 44. But as I say, the most worrying thing here is the price of this cassette, $150 US when you need to replace it. I'm not sure if you can use some other brands on this specific, you know, group set, so you don't have to use this SRAM XG1251 cassette, because it's going to be very expensive to replace. Just keep that in mind. Maybe there's some other, you know, manufacturers who do the kind of SRAM comparable cassette. Now let's talk about the braking system on the bike. So you see you are getting hydraulic disc brakes from SRAM. This is SRAM Rival hydraulic disc brakes. with the SRAM Paceline rotors. These rotors are 160mm braking rotors front and the back, which is absolutely great. The only thing I've noticed here, it seems to me that these braking rotors are not center lock braking rotors. It seems to me they are 6-bolt mounted braking rotors. I'm not sure why did Scott do that, because these SRAM Paceline rotors can come in the center lock option. This is a bit strange to me, but another interesting thing to check with your local Scott bike dealer. Is it a center lock braking rotor, or is it this 6-bolt? I mean, 6-bolt is just perfectly fine. Center locks, in my opinion, are a bit more better. Also, when it comes to these hydraulic disc brakes from SRAM, you see, in the old days, SRAM hydraulic disc brakes were nowhere close Shimano hydraulic disc brakes. I hope now that these SRAM rival hydraulic disc brakes are really good. I have no experience with them, so if anybody has any experience by using these SRAM rival hydraulic disc brakes, please do let us know in the comments below. Now let's talk about some of the smaller components on the bike, for example, handlebar and the stem. So you see, this handlebar is the Syncros Creston handlebar. That's an aluminium handlebar, and also the stem is from Syncros aluminium stem. Syncros is an in-house brand of Scott, so these aluminium pieces are perfectly fine. I have no special complaints here, and the good thing is that these pieces are separated, so if you wanna, finally tune your position on the bike, it's easy to do. And also in the future, if you want to replace this handlebar on the stem, it's also very easy to replace it. Now let's talk about the seat and the seat post. So the seat on this bike is the Syncros own seat, Syncros Tofino. I'm not expecting anything special here, and since saddles are a personal preference, I'm expecting that you have your desired saddle and then you just fit it on this bike. Seat post is the Syncros Duncan Aero seat post. So this is the thing, I'm not sure, is this a carbon fiber seat post or this is an aluminium seat post. Seems to me that this is going to be an aluminium seat post, and this is something that's a definite no-no in my book, and this is something you gotta check with your Scott bike dealer. If it's not a carbon fiber seat post, I would definitely immediately replace it, and that's a good point to negotiate the price of this bike. Carbon fiber seat posts are so much better than aluminium one for a simpler reason, because they're gonna absorb so much more of the small, road bumps. Now let's talk about the wheel set on this bike. So you see, the wheel set is the Syncros own production, Syncros RP 2.0 disc wheel set. So this is a pretty classical aluminium wheel set from Syncros, so aluminium rims with 24mm rim width and 28 holes front and the back, stainless steel spokes, and also when it comes to the hubs are based on the DT Swiss system hubs, but these are not kind of DT Swiss hubs. So this is going to be some kind of 3-pole system sealed bearing hubs, 12mm through axles front and the back. I'm expecting it to be a decent wheel set from Syncros. Probably the weight of this wheel set is going to be around 1,900 grams. It is kind of a tubeless ready wheel set, but you will have to definitely provide your own tubeless tape and the tubeless valves if you want to switch this wheel set to the tubeless only wheel set, so just keep that in mind. This wheel set is wrapped in the Schwalbe tires, so here you're gonna get a Schwalbe G1 performance tire, 45C tire both front and the back, which is absolutely great. Schwalbe does great tires, and these 45mm tires will definitely give you a lot of air volume. And definitely in the future, if you are switching the tires, I would still keep the size at 45mm just because of this great air volume. When we speak about the total bike weight, so you see it's going to be 8.88 kilograms, and this is for the size medium. In my case, I would definitely need size large, so I would expect it to be closer to like 9.1 kilograms. It is a decent bike weight, nothing special, but also don't expect these gravel bikes to be super light. This is not the point of these bikes. Also, another important consideration here is the maximum system weight, which is here 120 kilograms. So that means that, a bike plus the rider plus all the equipment that you are carrying, the maximum weight is 120 kilograms. So this is very useful to know if you go bike packing with this gravel bike. So now in a summary, do I have any special complaints about this bike? So first we gotta consider the, of course, retail price of $3,500 US. And I have few questions here for your local SCOTT bike dealer. First thing is this seat post. Is it a carbon fiber seat post? If it's not, you gotta replace it for a carbon fiber seat post, or you gotta negotiate the price of this bike. Also, another thing is just to check if these discs front and back are the center lock discs from SRAM, or is it a 6-bolt system. I hope it's a center lock disc, but it might be a 6-bolt system. It's just a little bit superior when you have a center lock system on this bike. Also keep in mind that in the future, when you need to replace this cassette at the back, it's a very expensive cassette. It might set you back at $150 US. Wow, it's just a crazy price. And also, of course, when you are changing the cassette, you will need to change the chain. So these two things can easily be, close to $200 US. I hope there are some kind of other brands that you can use for this cassette at the back. I don't know if Shimano would fit because of the different maybe hubs on the back, but this is something you really gotta check with your local, bike dealer, bike mechanic. Also, just keep in mind that in the future, you might want to change these wheels. These are very simple synchronous aluminum wheels. And then I would suggest you to have a look at DT Swiss and what DT Swiss can offer for their gravel wheels, especially their kind of G series, G1800 series superb gravel wheels. Except from that, nothing special to complain about this bike. Definitely the highlight is the wireless SRAM rival group set. No front mech shifters and the rear mech communicate wirelessly, no cables on this bike. Very interesting solution from SRAM, specifically now for their dedicated gravel group set. So I think this is going to be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing, and if you do, please do subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you're always notified when I make a new video. And as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Pura Vida.